The past 24 hours have seen a fresh wave of violent protests against Donald Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital and move the U.S. embassy there. In Tunisia, protesters demanded the resignation of the American ambassador. In Sudan, crowds rallied against Trump outside a United Nations office. The most violent demonstrations were seen in Beirut, where protesters attempted to storm the U.S. embassy.
Police fired tear gas and charged at the same time in an attempt to actually capture a few Palestinian youths, which they did, and we filmed them dragging them away into police vehicles. That was a violent, ugly scene. So all of this because of Donald Trump's announcement to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital in what has been considered right across the Arab world as a dangerous, reckless and completely ill-conceived move.
A pro-Palestinian rally also took place in Paris just before the Israeli Prime Minister arrived in France. Benjamin Netanyahu is on his first trip to Europe after America's recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. And so far, top European politicians have been making it clear they do not welcome the decision.
I expressed to Prime Minister Netanyahu my disappointment of the US President's declaration and explained that France sees it as contrary to international law and as dangerous to peace.
I think the sooner the Palestinians come to grips with this reality, the sooner we'll move towards peace.
The only realistic solution to the conflict between Israel and Palestine is based on two states, with Jerusalem as the capital of both the State of Israel and the State of Palestine along the 67 line.
I believe that all or most of the European countries will move their embassies to Jerusalem, recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital.
Meantime, Britain's Prime Minister condemned Trump's decision as unhelpful, adding she disagrees with the move. While Germany's foreign minister expressed fears the move could worsen the Israel-Palestine conflict. Well, we put the whole divisive issue up for debate.
People can open the Bible and to count how many times Jerusalem is mentioned there. They will find out also that Jerusalem is not mentioned even one time in the Quran, not even one time. People will find out that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel since 1948.
The whole world is condemning this action because simply it's against the international law. It's against the framework for the peace process. It has forfeited, the United States forfeited its position as a broker to the peace process. And I'll tell you something, the Israelis have killed 4 Palestinians in the past 2 days in peaceful protests, while no Israeli was killed. There was an injury in an attack in West Jerusalem.
Everything is a lie, first. Everything my opponent says is a lie. There were 3 terrorists killed in Gaza Strip, which has nothing to do with the protests here, because Gaza Strip, they fired rockets, and they forget about it. They just forget that they fire rockets at Israeli kindergarten. When people who are followers of Hajj Amin al-Husseini, Hitler's collaborator during Second World War, those who created Fatah before 1967 to destroy Israel, when the same personalities come and teach us morality, listen, come on.
They cannot be defending themselves while they are illegally on somebody else's land. That is unacceptable. What they've done, what they're doing, what have been doing since 1967 is an aggression. And with your other guests,
this has never been your land. Never been your land in history. Whose land is this?
You were born in Russia.
Donald Trump kept his promises. and he is trying to do his best. We are grateful, but the issue is not Donald Trump. The issue is these people go around to murder innocent Europeans, Russians, Americans, and we are here in the Middle East, the only democracy, the only really light in this very dark environment.
Trump's decision hasn't won much support at the UN either. The Security Council condemned the decision by 14 members to 1. Only the US defended itself, while the body's Secretary General suggested it poses a threat to the entire Mideast peace process.
I think that the decision that was taken Wednesday risks to compromise this effort, and if that is the case, it would be a pity.
Arab countries, meantime, also condemning the move, while some called for the decision to be reversed. Lebanon even suggested that actually sanctions should be imposed on Washington. Egypt's Foreign Affairs Minister, Sameh Shoukry, outlined to our sister channel, RT Arabic, his country's view of this situation.
Unfortunately, although we have indicated on several occasions the dangers related to such a decision and the possible ramifications, the decision was taken, and we do still believe that it does not conform to international legitimacy, to the resolutions of the United Nations, in addition to what we have seen in the degree of violence that has been instigated by this decision. I think Egyptian position has been clear in that it deplores this decision and feels that it has not contributed positively to the opportunities to achieve peace in the Israeli-Palestinian